Let's move on to main topic number 4. And our fourth main topic today gets submitted to us by Mike Wnkler, who writes, during the opening of his COVID home show, John stated, this is John Krasinski, stated, "It's the closest I'll ever get to playing a comic book superhero." Then gives a look to the camera. Did he just troll us? Drop some good news. Your thoughts? All right, so for those of you who don't know what Mike is talking about, John Krasinski, of course, right now, has an absolutely wonderful little YouTube show that he started just a couple of weeks ago called Some Good News. And it's just him with a crappy webcam, no proper microphone, looking into the camera and just talking about things to make you feel good. Just good stories, you know, to make you feel good. And it's wonderful. It's really, really great and so needed right now. And he started off the first one. You haven't seen the first one. He started off with him doing a interview over Skype with Steve Carell, which was really great. And then they were talking about The Office and stuff like that. It's just great. Anyway, in his newest episode, John Krasinski shows some fan art that people sent into him, one of which was like a 4-panel comic strip of John Krasinski coming down like an angel and saying, here's some good news, right? To which Krasinski said, this is great because it's probably the closest I'll ever get to being in a comic book movie. But then he pauses, looks at the camera and goes, and then they move on. And it's all they do. That got a lot of people very excited. Some people thinking, of course, that this was John Krasinski's way of giving a little wink and a nod that maybe he does have a comic book movie kind of lined up. And of course, you cannot say the name John Krasinski these days without everybody clamoring that he's got to be, you know, Reed Richards. He's got to be Mr. Fantastic. And of course, you can't say that without everybody also going on to say that his wife should be playing Sue Storm. And of course, everybody saw, and what a wonderful couple that would be. Rob, listen, this nonsense has been going on for so long. Look, at some point, people start saying the rumors so much that they just believe it's actually going to happen. I am here to tell you, this is never going to happen. You are never going to see John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. You're never going to see his wife, as great as she is, as Sue Storm. It is never going to happen. All right. That's part one. Part two is, I actually don't believe that anymore. I think he is going to be Mr. Fantastic now. I do. I am to that point now that you know what? If I'm looking in the mirror and going to be honest with myself, I think even I believe this is going to happen now. And that little thing, look, am I reading way too much into this? Of course I am. That's what we do. We as movie fans, we see the slightest little thing in it coming and we build this whole, paradigm around it. And 99% of the time it's all BS and it doesn't actually work out. But I have to believe, Rob, I have been beaten down. I'm buying into it. And not because I've always thought that would be great. But I think there's 100 different actors that would be great as Reed Richards. John Krasinski, definitely one. But I'm telling you, after this, I'm like, you know what? I think there is something to this. I've got no proof of that. We have no insider information. Any reports saying there are facts backing up is all BS. But I'm starting to I'm not starting. I'm there. I've joined the club. I've put on the tinfoil hat. I've hopped on the back of the truck. I believe this is actually going to happen now. And something as silly as this has maybe bought into it. Rob, you've heard about this. You saw it. What do you make of it? Was Krasinski really just trolling us? Is he actually going to be the new Mr. Fantastic? What do you think?
Yes, I think he is. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Kevin Feige's not dumb. I mean, he's got his fingers on the pulse of fandom. And the fact is, in this, you've got Emily Blunt coming off of Mary Poppins Returns. She's already a favorite at Disney. Everybody loves Emily Blunt. John Krasinski loved Emily Blunt. That's why he married her. I mean, it's like, I can't imagine how you could find in Hollywood ever now a husband and wife, an actual husband and wife team where the husband is playing franchise characters like Jack Ryan to great effect on the Amazon Jack Ryan series, who is directing A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2, which are hits, who's writing those things. And it's the kind of thing where now I think it's gotten to the point where if they didn't hire them to play Reed Richards and Sue Storm, you would just disappoint your entire fan base. Like it's gotten to the point where it's almost like we all believe it's de facto, like you just said, John, even you're believing it. I think there's a reason why John Krasinski, if you've ever seen him on late night talk shows or on Ellen or whatever, he knows what's up. He knows what time it is. They know, and he knows exactly what people would come away with from that. And by the way, that's the kind of thing you and I would do on this show if we knew that we were both cast in the new Star Wars movie. Like, we'd go, wouldn't it be great if we were cast in the next Star Wars movie? And we'd be like, and then turn away, and let people think of, because you can't say anything. You can't look at how far away these movies, how far out now they're planning, because they need things. Whatever. There's a Fantastic Four script that's being written or whatever, and I wouldn't be surprised if John Krasinski directs it.
I don't know that he would direct and star, but look, let's be clear before anybody gets too excited. There's a lot of things. There are a lot of hurdles that would have to be cleared, because listen, there have been a lot of castings that fans have not really been behind, and then they turn out to be great. If it turns out that, Emily Blunt, John Krasinski are not Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic, we'll get over it. It'll be fine. It will. I think it is a great idea. There are a few hurdles that have to be overcome, though. Number one is the schedules just may not work. Look, Kevin Feige has shown that he likes to set his schedule, and then he needs other people to fit to his schedule. And that's understandable, because you've got the MCU is a big machine, and you cannot derail the machine for any one actor or any one piece of talent. And I get that, and he's right to do it that way. So scheduling may just not work out. Maybe Emily Blunt, who right now is one of the hottest stars in Hollywood. Like, we talk about John Krasinski. Emily Blunt is also one of the hottest stars in Hollywood. I mean, it's not everybody that Disney wants to go out to play Mary Poppins, Right. I didn't like the movie, but whatever. They still went out to get her to be Mary Poppins.
She was great in it.
And she was great in it. And you can't just go out, if you're going to try to make a Jungle Cruise movie and you're like, what lead actress can own the screen when you've got a charismatic presence on screen like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Emily Blunt can. And Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson, by the way, came out at D23 together, and their chemistry on stage, at any rate, was so fun. They had such a great chemistry, so great. She is one of the major stars, the most sought-after stars. She can sing, she can dance, she can act. She's a world-class. She can do action. She can do whatever. We already saw that in Once Upon a Time, Live, Die, Repeat, No Other Tomorrow movie bullshit title, whatever that movie was called. We saw her that she can do great action, and she can be badass and hard. She can be beautiful and soft. She can be everything Sue Storm is supposed to be.
Yep.
And now hear the whining fanboys. But she's not blonde. Just shut up. What? Anyway,
have you looked at a movie in Hollywood?
I know, but she's not blonde. Oh God. Anyway, so there are maybe her salary expectations could be higher than what Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige is certainly looser with the purse strings than, say, Ike Perlmutter was, but he also likes to be fiscally responsible. He wants to impress his boss. He wants to impress Alan Horn. So maybe that becomes an issue. I don't know. But man, what a treat. Rob, what a treat it would be in the midst of all this crap, even though a Fantastic Four movie probably is at minimum 3 years away.
Yeah.
Minimum 3 years away. But what a treat it would be if, like, in a week or two, while everybody's getting so bored of this lockdown and everything, if Kevin Feige were to put out on Twitter, I think Emily Blunt and John Krasinski are fantastic. Like, what a treat that would be. Wouldn't it just get everybody excited? Wouldn't it just make your heart smile? Wouldn't it make your heart smile? I think that would be great. But Rob, let me ask you straight up though, honestly here. Understanding the way Hollywood works, understanding we're all just interpreting things, understanding the reality of schedules, understanding that there are a lot of other great actors and actresses out there who could do a fantastic job in this. Let me ask you to set an actual percentage on this. What's the percentage chance that we see both John Krasinski and his wife Emily Blunt as Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic whenever this comes around? What do you think the chances are?
I'm going to go high, bro. I'm going to say 65%.
That's high.
I'm going to go that high. I think that you look at, maybe they have a different way to go, but I think right now that in terms of the fact that you have an actual married couple that is enough of a box office draw, both in front of and behind the camera, that you are in a unique, let's call it a perfect storm of different attributes that make them. I just can't see anybody who's more ideal for the roles. I just can't. I think it'd be silly not to do it. The real question is, do they have a plan for how Fantastic Four works in the MCU? I would hate to see having them and then have it underperform. I don't believe it would, but we'll see. We'll see. And maybe Ant-Man 3 plays into that. I think it would be great. I don't put anything by them. And it's funny, just watching the opening I watched the first hour and a half. I love the first hour and a half of Endgame. I don't even have to get to the end. I just like the setup and all the characters and everything. I like the way they do that. I was just watching and going, these people know. They know how to do it. They know how to play us. They know how to play the audience. And I love that. And I'm sucked into it. And I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to, I think just because Kevin Feige must watch this show, John, and I think maybe he'll send that tweet out. Because why wouldn't you, Kev? Our Lord and Savior. Come on.
There could be things. But what about this? What about this? How disappointed do you think people would be if they cast one and not the other? Would it still be cool? Would people still be thrilled if John Krasinski is Mr. Fantastic and Jessica Alba returns as Sue Storm? Okay, maybe not Jessica Alba, but Margot Robbie as Sue Storm or something like. Do you think people would still be cool with it, or do you think they were just are we just getting our hopes set on, or really getting our hearts set on the idea of seeing both of them in there?
Look, I think people want to see. First of all, they want to see a Fantastic Four movie. First and foremost, because they want everything that comes with it, Doctor Doom, the Silver Surfer, Galactus, whatever. But if you cast Krasinski and not Emily Blunt, I do think there would be an element of disappointment because they're married. They're a couple, and I think who's ever had the opportunity to bring that kind of energy onto the screen? I just had a thought. Did you ever see America's Sweetheart? No.
With John Cusack, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Julia Roberts. Okay, it's awesome, right? But the basic principle, the basic premise of it, because here's a problem they could face, and we need to move on to the next. We're going way over time, but still,
I know
the underlying premise of the movie is Catherine Zeta-Jones and John Cusack are the two biggest movie stars in the world, and they've been a married couple. They're America's sweethearts. But before their last movie that they shot together comes out, they have gone through a hellacious breakup. And now Billy Crystal, who plays a film publicist, is desperately trying to publicize this movie when all America really wants to see these two people back together again. What if they made this movie with John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, Fantastic Four, they shot it, and then 3 months before the movie comes out, a huge public divorce and split. And with that, then we got a real life America's Sweethearts playing out then. Then you got to figure out a way to get that. Anyway, guys, we've gone on for this for way too long, but what do you guys think? Clearly, there's a lot to get excited about here when we're thinking about this as a possibility. What do you think of the chances here? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.